In this video, we're going to continue our exploration of the Christos dragon teachings for the awakening and the higher consciousness that's coming in through lands and waters of this earth are a part of the reclaiming of the Christos mission, or Christos Sophia, or what many say is Christos Sophia, and part of the sacred mission of the dragon teachings. And together, we're going to journey into the sacred lands and the waters that are underneath those lands of what is called Albion. That is the heart of the world. And we're going to go through that in another video right after this one. This is part one, and there's going to be a part two, because it's not just about the heart chakra region energetically of our realm. There's so much more to it. We'll explore that later. So let's begin to more fully explore the secrets that I've uncovered that lies behind the ancient name and what Albion truly stands for. And we're going to go through what treasures await us amidst these sacred lands. Because when I was there in October, I felt dragon, Merlin, or as you may have heard in other videos that I've done, Merlion energies, and so much more. So we stand at a threshold of a new era. And so there are many mystical insights waiting to be gleaned from these sacred lands. We're also going to talk about today how Gaia is speaking to us, how this is connected to the profound paradigm shift of consciousness that we are in right now and have been in for some time. Let's pretend that we are in primordial times. We're gathering around the eternal flame of the sacred fire once again. We bask in its radiant glow again. And it not only illuminates the night sky, but also it illuminates our souls. And in this enchanted space, we're being transported to primordial times, where tales of wonder and magic were woven into the very fabric of our existence. The warmth of the fire caresses our spirits, beckoning us to share stories of our journeys and quests. I've been discussing here and there throughout quite a few videos so far, even though this is a new channel, bringing forth the spiritual significance of the heart of the world, or what is known as Albion in ancient times. And I've been called into this wisdom. It called me to share more about it. And I've been moving into this for years now. And now I'm going to be taking you on this same deep dive as I've been on, taking you into my dreamtime learnings and the learnings that I'm doing in my waking hours. For there's so many secrets that lie hidden behind the ancient name Albion, and includes the lands that are now known as Ireland, Scotland, UK, France, even into Belgium, Germany, and more. So it's a big area. And in ancient times, that was all known as Albion. But the EVIL factions, which I spell for a reason, I try to do this as much as I can remember, took it over, and then it became the UK. So let's look at this Albion map here. This is an ancient map that I have found. And I'm just going to do a full screen layout real quick. So this is actually called the Albion, or Anglesey. And Anglesey turned into Albion, and Albion is also connected into Avalon. And so we have to go back into the root meanings of words. So there's a lot of symbolism and spiritual connotations in the name Albion itself. It's been known as the birthplace of magic and wisdom. And if you traverse into other cultures, Albion has been associated with the concept of a utopian place, lands of freedom and happiness, or a symbol of purity and enlightenment. There's a lot in this area. And again, that this area was more expansive, and it was very different than it is now in terms of names of regions. So when you go into ancient texts and writings, Albion is noted as a place of great power and spiritual significance. and it's where the veil between the worlds, what we call matter or physicality, and other realms. So it's very thin. In fact, that was the very meaning of Avalon. That was actually the meaning of Anglesey, as this map is showing. The next thing that we have to look at is we have to look at the word Albion. The most important aspect is when you can read through this, and you can go find this and look this up for yourself, but the most important aspect to look at is this alb, A-L-B. That means, it's suggested that it means white. I would like to suggest that it's connected into something far more than what many of the resources say, which is it's connected into the chalk-like colored, the white chalk coloring of the cliffs that are in Albion region. I think it's connected to something far more cosmic, and I will I'll bring you through that thinking in a moment. So there's a lot of folklore, there's a lot of myths, a lot of legends wrap around the word Albion and of Albion. Many legends point to that region that was named Albion, and there are many tales. One of the tales is about an exiled queen named Albina or Albina and a family of sisters. And what this legend says is that they were exiled from their homeland in what the story said is Greece, but there's actually other versions of the same story that say Syria, which is actually that region that is Greece. Syria was the name before it became Greece. So I think that if we can look with our inner eyes, our inner knowing, we can see that this means Syrian, as in Sirius, the star system. And so there are many variations. And of course, the interesting thing is all these variations of these myths and legends, etc., are written by men. Because if a female were to write anything, it would have been eradicated, right? Didn't mean anything, oh, you're a woman. So there's a lot of inversions of stories because you only have that perspective, a patriarchal perspective. And again, the patriarchal is a system, far much more than just that men are above a gender that we call women. So there's much more to that story, but we have to think about these kinds of inversions when we really look at these ancient stories. So we have a 14th century poem by Des Gans, and that was of the great giants. There's a lot of stories around the giants that were in this region. And then you had later in 1136, Geoffrey of Monmouth. He had a book called The History of the Kings of Britain, or Historia Regum Britannia. And again, that was written in 1136. Now, when I'm reading into that, what I read into that is inversions of the true story. Because remember, most things were oral through speaking the stories. So when you have that happen, and then there was starting to be some writing, and of course, most of the real ancient texts and scrolls were destroyed. That was destroyed when the great libraries in ancient times were purposefully destroyed. So much of this knowledge that was written down by scribes, mages, of course, because a mage and a scribe were always really of equal talents and mastery and craft. So we have to get to the real story. And the real story lies in remembering those of us that hold the codes in our DNA, and then other people can feel that, resonate with the frequency. So what treasures await us amidst these sacred lands? Let's start to dig into that. Okay, so again, root meanings of words are so imperative. So let's look at this again on this side. Alb, A-L-B, means white. Okay, let's put a note in on that. And then you have the stories of the exiled queen and her sisters in Syria. So I say female. Females of Syrian roots from the Syrian system came into the realm, but weren't exiled. They came here for a very important sacred mission. Alb is connection to the great white lions of Sirius. Those in a female form that came through the Stargate into that region that became known as Albion We're females of the same lineage of my soul stream, my higher selves, you could say, which is a lioness guardian protector race from the great white lions of Sirius, so Syrian, which again is one of the guardian founder races. All the founder races had very specific roles to play, the sacred missions and purposes they were here. This, what I've remembered, is we were engineers. We were actually working with Dragon to engineer the very energetic structure of all things in this realm, in the Trinity realm. So we have to really go into knowing around the great white lions of Sirius and think about their role in bringing this entire beautiful structure into existence. So what I've gathered from my Dreamtime learning sessions, and then when you dig into the myths and the legends, which is really where cores of truth lie, up to this point, and what I've felt when I was there in the lands of Albion is that this region is the architecture of the original template of this human form. And this is embedded or connected into the energetic architecture of the earth, as within, so without. So they're in these areas. That is where the original creation blueprint exists, but it's also the template of building energetic structures of our realms, which is the Trinity form, Earth, Terra, Gaia. So you have Earth, third density, you have Terra, fourth density, and you have Gaia, fifth density. Now, there is a difference between density and dimension. So density is the physicality or the matter aspect of a realm, whereas dimension is the consciousness, vibration of that density experience. Or we could say of an octave. So this is a quick way to know the difference between density and dimension. And it's really, I think, imperative to know that because it gives us more clarity on when someone says 5D, does that mean, what do you mean 5D? Right? So that's a quick note. So now let's go explore some other aspects. We're going to talk about crop circles because there's a much bigger knowing in crop circles than I think many know. So I want to correlate and bring this and tie this together. So in a video here on my channel that I created on the annular Ring of Fire eclipse that was on October 14th, you can view that video if you'd like to go back and take a look at that. But crop circles, so my husband and we've talked about this, and he's a musician. So he does original music and he's very creative like that. That is a big gift for him. He's like, wait a minute, crop circles seem like they would be cymatics. I'm like, oh my God, yes, cymatics. Crop circles are cymatics of Earth. But then when I really felt into that, I was like, ooh, but there's more to this. So it's also the way that our planetary being communicates with us, but not only Gaia, as we can say, or Pachamama, or the Mother Earth energy, that's a live being, planetary being. It's not just how she communicates with us, it's also how the inner earth realms or inner layer realms speak to us as well. So this is a communication. These aren't from some crafts coming in and going bzzzt into the ground. This is different. This is coming from within the energetic signature of Gaia. So when I talk about the vibrational aspect of what we say inner earth or middle earth, it's really not right or correct because it's not in, it's like of. And so the correct way to portray it is a little difficult. I think I'll go with inner layer for now. So this is also how those realms speak to us because they're guarded by vibrational fences, gates, and you cannot enter unless you vibrate on that same frequency. So if you are an astral traveler, you would know what I'm speaking of. Because when I go into my astral travels in dreamtime sessions, that's where I learn. I've been into these places, into what we would call Shambhala or these inner realm cities, but these are other systems that are connected energetically into our realm, because all worlds at one time originally in our original creation blueprint are connected. And that's another video for another day. But when I started getting these insights more and more coming in, these crop circles play a very important role. So this specific one was in Italy, and it's roughly, just to put a pointer at it, it's not very far from Bologna, Italy, if you've been there, which is absolutely fantastic place. So the recent surge of energy since this time of the Ring of Fire. So this crop circle was talking about the annular Ring of Fire eclipse on October 14th, talking about this, showing us the Mayan eclipse is coming up and that it has huge significance. It was basically a gate. So when I was there in the UK, Albion, in these regions, what I figured out when I was there, I was like, oh, these were energetic gates. So you have October 14th and then the end of October, because at the end of October, there was a partial lunar eclipse on October 28th. Between the 14th and the 28th was a gate. It was a gate of entry, a portal of energy and awakening in the lands. And here's the most interesting part. See, these crop circles don't just show us or communicate something. This one, and I'm sure if we really study all of them, they're maps. So I'm going to show you this. And so what we have here is we have the sacred towers, which are the dragon nodes, which are Silbury Hill. And then you have the Avebury Henge connection. So the Silbury Hill, what I felt in there was a powerful surge. Powerful. And I'll go into what that was in a moment. And Silbury Hill is a dragon node. So the energetic powers really started brewing in 2021, with the time between the annular solar eclipse of October 14th and the partial lunar eclipse on October 28th, 2023 being a gate. And so that's why I was urged by my soul stream of consciousnesses to go during that time. So crop circles are a language, a communication. They're always far more than what meets the eye, and this is just one example of that. And now we're going to move into dragon, because the Albion is a powerful hub of dragon energy. Dragon means light. Dragon means to have seen. For when you know and feel and have seen what dragon is, you're not the same. I haven't been the same. It's not the dragon that we see in pictures in that full way. It's that's not, there's falsities there. So we need to re-imprint a new way of seeing dragon in a more of a celestial form. This image is the best that I've found. I've had many moments waking up for automatic writing sessions, and this one was the only one that I found. So this is a gorgeous image by an artist, ELENA Stewart. So ELENA, if you ever see this video, that is amazing. And I want this like in my biggest form ever, because I've actually captured this photo in the sky. And I'll show that in my course coming up on dragons. So let's look at the word ley lines, because it's connected into dragon. Because what I know, when I heard the word ley lines, and then I started to really feel into this, it was actually earlier this year when I had an awakening around, and I was speaking to Gaia with the connection of the Serpent Mound in Ohio, which is a powerful spot. I have a video on that too, but I'm going to do more on that. But it's connected. So ley line, L-E-Y, is actually not the original root meaning or the root word. L-E-Y is connected to L-E-A, ley. And so this is the real origin of the word. And at the root, what L-E-A means is light place, or to shine, be bright. So you can see this is absolutely connected into dragon energy, because dragon is light. So it's the light energy signature of all of creation. That is dragon. that is ley. And those lines that form the energetic structure that we call Earth and even Terra and Gaia is the dragon lines, or LEA lines, ley lines, or what, again, later was a butchery of the word to spell it LEY. So when someone asks you about, do you know what a ley line is? You can say, you mean dragon lines, right? Because that's actually, we need to know this. This is the truth. This is how we see into the very fabric of our enchanting, magical creation within us and within all things. So when I was there and I was weaving into the Michael Mary dragon line, that is key. For that is connected into many sites, and I'm going to show more on that in a moment. And these are all part of the energies that are part of the land that it's awakening. The land equals goddess. Goddess equals what used to be known as queens. Queens were representatives of sovereignty, of wisdom. Sophia or Sophia. The Christic Mission was ingrained. It's a consciousness. It's ingrained in the guardian template. And a queen was a protector of the land of the goddess, because goddess also is land. And all of this equates to the original creation blueprint templates, which is the energetic structure of dragon lines, or LEA, ley lines. And it's really central to this entire region. So here's an amazing image that I found that I want to show from your guidinglight.org. This is perfect. The Michael Mary line goes along this Belenius dragon line. And as you see, there's a cross point. There's a hub. That's where they cross is the Stargate. That spot is marked by a dragon imprint, which many men over the ages called it a horse. It's not a horse. So that region that crosses is Uffington, or what they called actually the horse at Uffington, but it's not a horse, it is a dragon. So the Belenius line, dragon line, and the Michael Mary dragon line are very important to know about right now. Absolutely imperative to know about, because these are the dragon lines that are awakening powerful energies to harmonize the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine energies again, bringing through the original creation blueprint. So then when you look, this is where the cross point is. So I can't even believe that people called that a horse ever. That is dragon. That is dragon. So this is another powerful dragon node, and dragon nodes are the power centers. So if you haven't watched the Christos Dragon Teachings Unveiled, King Arthur and Queen Guinevere video in my channel, please do. It's going to give you more insights into how all of this is connected into the true and real beings that were King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. It's all so very exciting because this is the real story. And the awakening lands in this region of Albion is the light body. So we need to also think about this from an energetic structure that is looking, what we're now looking at is how the construct, or the energetic construct of the original creation blueprint, is being brought into our realm again. And this is working in stages. So Sirius, again, one of the Guardian Founder races, they're sending in really powerful frequencies. I've actually seen them coming through the sun. And I'll share that in some other video in the future. And what it's stimulating is higher consciousness. The higher consciousness activations, which comes through the earth, and then it comes into our human form and all beings. This is accelerating the great shift of consciousness that we're experiencing and will be experiencing and have been experiencing for some time. But more so than that, as I dug into my soul being, and when I was in the land of Avebury Hinge and stood by Silbury Hill, I felt the true magic awakening. And I talk about this a little more in depth in my Magic of Merlin video that's in this channel. Merlin was not one human. It's not one little wizard guy. It's not truth. It's a lineage of humans that's all part of the great lion race of Sirius. So the magic is alive, and the magic has always been here. It has always been here. It is just that the EVIL factions that hijacked this realm hid it, veiled it. But now, because I've felt this, I know this, there's no stopping this, for the grandest of grandest awakenings of this architecture has recently stepped into our realm. And in fact, I've always been called dragon, but I didn't really know what that meant. I just felt it. And I was called into them and called into all of this mystery and magic since I don't think I was ever that size, small, little girl. And my soul stream of consciousness has always been a protector and a guardian for the mother of dragons. That is the blue dragon, Tiamat. And in a future series, I'm going to go over that in a future course. So in the next video, I'm going to continue the spiral into the awakening of Albion and the spiritual significance, and then we'll go into the meaning of why Albion means heart of the world. It has a lot more to do than with the heart chakra. It's way more. So I hope that this video helps you to awaken more of your magic. Subscribe to get more videos that will help illuminate the path for all the indigos and the star seeds, for all beings that serve as pioneers in this massive paradigm shift of consciousness and in the remembering of original creation magic. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.